It's a hot and toasty day here in Fort Worth, Texas, and we visit Texas Motor Speedway for the 5th round of the 2019 Mission 22 Cup Series. Welcome to SimTV. My name is Kyle Heiger. I'm joined tonight by Finian DeCuna. And Finian, we've seen hot racetracks in the past, but 132 degrees Fahrenheit. This is going to be extremely abrasive, it's going to be extremely hot, and it's going to be extremely slippery. How do you challenge a racetrack like this? How do you take on a racetrack like this and make it to the other side of over 130 laps?
You respect her. No, seriously though, you really do have to respect this track, especially considering how hot it is. These guys are going to have very little grip, which is not good because this is a fairly old surface that we're racing on, and this is before the replay. I don't know what year the replay was, but the very old racetrack combined with really hot temps. It's essentially like Atlanta, as you've seen quite a few times with a lot of scorching hot races at Atlanta, and guys are sliding all over the place. So I think we're going to see something similar to that, and definitely not going to be seeing a lot of that pack racing we've been getting used to seeing with this package.
1.5 miles at Texas Motor Speedway, of course, 4 corners around here. But this is no ordinary oval racetrack, Finian. We always talk about turn number 2. Why?
Sorry,
you weren't paying attention. I was asking you why we talk about turn number 2, because this is not a normal 1.5 mile racetrack.
Yeah, really, turn 2, just the whole entire racing line moves up pretty much into the wall almost, or right next to the wall. And it really leads to a lot of incidents coming off the corner that we typically see. Although, in some with more downforce these guys have had, we've seen less of those incidents that we've seen in the low downforce package, where guys are really struggling in the corner. I think what we are going to see is a lot of guys coming loose off of turn 2, just to how sharp the exit is. So we can be looking, I guess, forward to that.
We have well over 40 cars entered in the race here tonight. 30 of them have laid down a time in qualifying. We've got about 58 seconds left here as we are going to jump on Brandon Key, who is working his way down the back straightaway. And we're just waiting to show you a couple more cars because Trading Paint's taking its sweet time tonight, getting itself updated. There's got 40 cars in here. We just came from another stream for the Speed 51 Elite Modified Series, so it's certainly taking a couple minutes to get up to speed here. Alec Martinez in the 54 on the back straightaway. He's 32nd on his first lap, but I think we're probably seeing improvement on the second lap out here. But after that, Finney and I do expect the lap times to fall and fall extremely quickly from there on out. So Martinez comes on through to complete his second lap. Will it be an improvement from a 30.905? It will be a 30.404 up to 22nd.
Yeah, I'm actually kind of surprised that he's starting all the way back in 22nd. That's a fairly deep ways down the field, and actually he's going to just be dropping further and further back as guys continue to put down dimes.
Look at this paint scheme. This is really pretty. Norm Pelletier's TRD 40th anniversary car.
It always makes me upset the fact that people with just their everyday computer can make a better scheme than most actual teams.
Yeah,
I know there's
really
like
pretty.
I know there's like the whole guidelines and that they have to oblige to, but there's so much better schemes online.
So here's the issue tonight. On the right-hand side of your screen, 133. The track temp is extremely hot. This racetrack is already really terrible for tire wear. So if we even make it into a long run tonight, Finian, tire conservation is going to be extremely important. How do you do that around here, especially with this new 2019 package?
It's going to be a lot of off-throttle time and making sure that you're not forcing the car through the corner. You want to be kind of just riding around behind people, following the leader's pace and the guys ahead of your pace. Thing though, you can't follow in directly behind someone because that's going to make your car make you have to use the tires up even more, being the arrow shadow of a lot of these guys. So you want to just peek out a line, and especially consider running the middle of the track. Don't go all the way up to the top because I think that's going to be a death sentence at this point because there's next to no rubber down there. But try the middle line out and see if that can work.
So let's get started with our starting lineup because we got a lot of cars to go through here, Finian. So let's get it started on the front row tonight. Robert Hall, the number 30. He's driving a Toyota Camry this evening from Georgia. He's on the inside of the front row. Jeff Ward, championship contender from last year from the Mid-South. He starts on the outside of row number 1.
Moving on back to row number 2, Anthony DeBar on the 27. After a hot streak after the beginning of the season, he's doing a really good job. Outside of him is his teammate in the 21, Nick Cohen, in 4th.
Greg Evans in the number 46, a past season champion from Carolina, alongside Timothy Johnson, a driver that was shuffled out of the playoffs last year when perhaps he had championship speed.
Back in 7th, Matt Belby starting on the inside in 77. Outside of him, Tyler Hensley with a great qualifying effort in 8th in the 44.
Row number 5 is going to be Thomas Bresci in the number 24 car, alongside Thomas George in the number 9 Milwaukee Tool-sponsored Camaro.
And moving on back to 11th place, we're going to have Zach Buchanan in the 40 car in 11th. Good qualifying effort for him. Outside of him, Brian Chambliss in the 45 in 12th.
Row number 7, Hayden Pistorius in the number 19, alongside Justin Guthrie in the number 18. Both these cars were really good at Daytona. Let's see how they can do in round number 5.
And as everyone starts to get underway here, we'll let the rest of this roll on by.
A lot of cars out here tonight.
Yeah.
Over 40, if I counted correctly. And we're going to have one pace lap before we turn these guys loose. It's an 134-lap race. Pit stops are going to be for tires, not necessarily for fuel, because you're going to lose probably 3, 4, maybe even 5 seconds on a long run here. It's going to get slow, and that means that when you pit, if we get to green flag pit stops, oh boy, will the traffic be entertaining at the very least. There was already discussion this weekend at Las Vegas Motor Speedway with the NASCAR Monster Energy Cup Series about lap traffic. That was in the instances of slow, backmarker cars, but I think tonight it's going to be more about the tires that these cars have on them.
Yeah, and really how long they can stay on them, because again, with the temps as high as they are, I'm sure it's going to catch a lot of people off guard once the tires start to wear out and we get into a fairly long green flag run, which you expect, because these guys have been clean and green for most of this season, and we expect that here. These guys have done a great job racing against each other, and we'll see if that can continue on in this round for round number 5.
Jack Andreck is starting in 28th. He was it was my favorite car to win for Daytona. He was that good, trying to see if he can gain a lot of spots tonight to make his way up inside the top 10 or even the top 5. Field rolling out of turn number 4. Robert Hall is the one sitting on the pole for tonight's race in that number 30. It's a relatively new name to the series, as we're going to collect green flag here in just a moment. The flag man has the green flag in hand. Waiting. Green flag flies, racing in Texas.
Oh, the whole gigantic field getting green and underway, racing off down into turn 1, side by side for the first time.
The 30 car trying to pull ahead of the field. He's got the 27 of Anthony DeBarro behind him. Already has a victory or two this season. It's a hornet's nest out of turn 2. Everybody looking for spots. DeBarro dives to the inside with help from Greg Evans.
You see guys forming up side by side for now. I don't think it's going to last too long, though. You see DeBarro charge to the inside, and on the outside,
big slide.
Find the way in line.
Big slide for the 30 car out of turn 4. He loses the lead. DeBarro leads lap number 1. Jeff Ford sits in second on the outside. Make that third as the 30 charges back to the inside. Cohan on the outside lane, and that's the 46 of Evans in the middle. Everyone trying to find room to race.
You see guys starting to fan out a little bit longer, and they're still side by side way down into the pack. They're looking at Greg Evans here in the middle, as well as Nick Cohen, 4th and 5th respectively. You can see the leaders starting to single file out.
Of course, we mentioned tire wear was going to be a big deal tonight. Can't wait to see what the lap times are going to be about 10, 15, 20 laps into the run. We mentioned Alec Martinez earlier. Not a great qualifying effort by the driver in the 54. He sits 23rd right now, and he's going to be slicing and dicing.
Yeah, he's got a long way to go. Fortunately, he has a lot of laps to work with, so we'll keep an eye on this 54 as he charges up through the field. At least we expect him to charge up through the field given his past record and pace.
Yeah, he's been very patient this year, though. That's been something that's been different from seasons in the past with him in the Outsider Racing League. So curious to see how he'll do as the night runs on. Up front, Robert Hall charging back to the front. He's got DeBarro in front. Ooh, the 9 out of shape on the front straight. Thomas George, he collects it and is somehow not going to crash in front of the whole field. But he's going to lose a lot of spots all the way to the back of the field.
Yeah, and I see some damage to the right side of that car, too, on the door and on the right front. So that's not going to really do him any favors here, especially as he's lost momentum that he has to pick back up now.
Yeah, so he got loose out of turn 4 and pancaked the wall, and now going to be deep in the field. There's a hornet's nest of cars around there. There's Martinez in the middle, like we mentioned, but for the top spot, DeBarro's led every lap so far, but Hall is putting the pressure back, and Jeff Ford sits in 3rd.
Jeff Ford kind of sitting patiently back. We can see a lot of guys already started to single file out as this run goes on. We're only 5 laps in.
Bottom of the racetrack seems like the place to be now. Do you think that's going to change over the course of the race, or maybe the bottom will be the preferred line all night long?
I think definitely it's going to change once the tires start to wear out. These guys have less grip to really rely on. I think they're going to slowly migrate up towards the top as this run goes on. It's going to be a lot harder to keep the car glued to the bottom.
Back across the front straightaway now. Everyone's still double file towards the middle of the field. But as you mentioned, the front is kind of singled out. This gives them an opportunity to save their tires. But if you're back here towards the middle, Finney, and you're driving really hard, using up your good years, so maybe getting single file, even if you're trying to race people, being patient, falling into line is the place or the thing to do right now.
Yeah, definitely. So you want to have a little bit of patience. Again, quite a few laps on the clock to work with. So it's not in a complete rush, especially if you're running in around 15th, 20th.
Nick Cohan in the 21 was victorious at Darlington a couple weeks ago, and that was a controversial victory to say the least after contact with this guy right here, the 46 of Greg Evans. I don't know if there's anything still between them, but I imagine as the season goes on, drivers' memories typically are longer than the average person, but I think we'll probably won't have to worry about it too much.
I think Greg Evans will probably be over it. If anything, he's just going to make sure that 21 doesn't get past him as he sees the 21 go to the outside. So I think Greg Evans will race him a little bit harder than usual, but I don't think he'll do anything too drastic.
A new livery on the 21 this week.
Yeah,
That's a great-looking car. There's a paint scheme game is really strong tonight in general. The Dizzy Motorsports got some new paint on. Robert Hall still dogging the 27 at DeBarro here, Finian. What are the chances we see him pop out of line, or do you think he's content running second?
I think he's content running second. I think he's more worried about just trying to break away from the rest of the field. That's going to be really key, because once these guys start to get out of drafting range, you're pretty much home free for the most part, unless they have a significant tire advantage or pace advantage. So I think if he can break away from the rest of the field, he might try something later down the line.
Matt Bell in this number 77. He's up one spot from where he started. He's had pangs of greatness all season long, even at the season opener in Michigan. He's been really solid. Solid 6th to 10th place car. It's not going to take a lot to make him a race winner, and he's starting off his night pretty well. He's got some rookie stripes on that rear bumper, which the driver behind him does not have. That is Timothy Johnston, seasoned veteran in the series and a championship contender from the Fuel Finals last season.
Yeah, seasoned veteran, currently 4th in the points, running consistently, pretty much as he was last season. That's what got him into the Fuel playoffs. Didn't have a win, but was the points leader going in, and he just that consistency is really what helps all these guys out.
Car way out of line. That is, I believe, Brandon Key in the 22. He's going to crash hard into the pit wall on the front straight. He will be out of the way.
Yeah, will remain green as he's off on the apron, getting it collected again, but heavy damage to that 22.
Yeah, that's pretty much race-ending damage for sure. Out of turn 4, just slightly loose, chased it up and pancakes the wall, and then this is what, got hit from another car there. Didn't see who that was, and a big impact to the inside fence. I try to track down who that orange car was.
Yeah, the unfortunate driver that caught in behind.
Right in front of, that's the 17 of Jack Andrick.
So that's unfortunate for him.
How much damage does he have on the nose of this 17? It looks pretty significant. It's not, not as bad as I thought, but it's not going to be great.
Yeah, it's definitely not doing him any favors. So we'll keep an eye on that 17, see if he can maybe fix it later on as this race goes on. But currently green for 11 laps and no sign of
I'm impressed.
Change that.
I'm going to say I'm impressed. We have 40 cars on the racetrack, and we've only had one even minor incident right now, so that's pretty good. Justin Guthrie in the 18 falling back into turn number 1, and look who's going by him. That's the 17th place car of Alec Martinez in the 54. He started in 23rd. He's up 5 spots. A good climb forward.
Yeah, and this is where we really see where the 54 started to shine. Once the tires kind of lose their initial shine and start to wear out, we definitely see him and a few other drivers start to work their way up to the field through guys with worn out tires.
Anthony DeBarro still leads the way. He's led every lap so far.
And pulling away from Robert Hall as well now, so 27's got a lot of pace in him to move away from the rest of the field, including Robert Hall.
Out of turn 2. He's just so calm, cool, and collected, even under pressure. He's been a solid driver all couple seasons he's been in so far, and look at Greg Evans now putting pressure on Jeff Ward for 3rd.
Evans chasing down the 89 car, and he's also bringing along the 21 of Cohen. They both kind of move closer to the leaders. We'll see if Evans has got anything for Jeff Ward at the moment.
Doesn't look like it so far. I want to jump back. Casey Lakatos, the other Sim Motorsports driver, in 14th place. If you're curious about watching his onboard, he streams every race he does. You can find him on YouTube. I don't have the link immediately available. If you jump back to the ORL's race on Saturday, I believe, I think I have that linked in the description. So you can check out Lakatos' link there. He is live right now, though.
Yeah, as he makes it past the inside of the 32 Shane Ewing, who's done a fantastic job this season so far. He'll move back into 14.
And behind, I see Norm Pelletier. He's dropping down a couple spots. Looks like he started in 16th. Okay, he's dropped 1 spot. He's down to 17th place as Martinez goes on by. Again, this livery is just gorgeous on this. Wrong camera. It was just gorgeous on this 56. I love the black roof and hood. I think that gives it a really mean looking appearance.
Oh, but he's got Crocs in the back quarter panel.
Okay, that makes the whole scheme terrible at that point. Brian Chambliss in the 45 fighting with Hayden Pistorius. This is a battle for 11th place.
Yeah, it's Pistorius on the outside, Chambliss on the inside, and it looks like Pistorius is going to win that fight for now.
And Pistorius is on a climb upward. Started 13th. Chambliss started 12th. He's maintained that position so far. Jumping back a little ways, Shane Ewing and Riley Thompson now fighting for 14th place.
Yeah, his 32 actually just got passed by Thompson, so he's starting to fall back a little bit. He's got Alec Martinez, who's definitely showing no sign of slowing down. And we'll probably get past the 32 car.
The iRacing was brought to my attention by Connor in the chat, and it's
hell.
really high. I don't know what the SOF is, but it's got to be...
The lowest driver in the top 16 has a 2,500, or actually, so sorry, it's Zach Buchanan with a
1954, but he's a self-proclaimed road driver.
Most of the guys in the top 15 have an over 3K iRating.
That's pretty impressive.
Which is really high.
Buchanan fighting right now in 8th place, Tyler Hensley and Thomas Bresci for 9th. Look at these teammates side by side at the exit at turn 4. And looking at lap times, we're already 2 full seconds off the pace from the start of the race.
Yeah, that's no surprise there again, considering how hot the track is and how much these tires are out, especially when these guys are running like this. It's going to only get worse from here on out, so tires are going to be very much worth it. I imagine that if we do get a few cautions, we'll see almost everyone down.
Wow, that got exciting. Look at the... I think it was the 32 and the 58 that were basically top and bottom, and Martinez in the middle. This is a fight for 14th place.
Yeah, and this is what I was saying, guys. You start experimenting around. You see that the middle groove starting to darken out towards the outside. So Martinez and Ewing taking advantage of that, just testing the waters here, and actually getting a pretty solid run on Riley Thompson.
Yeah, I want to see how they perform down here in turns 1 and 2 again. So Thompson on the outside, the 32 on the inside, both kind of in the middle of the racetrack. Martinez half a lane lower, and both of them, all 3 of them, really dead even. But Martinez looks to the inside 3 wide for a moment, and Martinez makes it up. Oh, Timothy Johnson around in the back straightaway.
Oh no, and facing the wrong way.
Right in the middle as everyone slows on down to get through, and there goes John Rodden on by. And some pretty heavy nose damage to the 28. Looks like a single car incident, but we'll get confirmation here in a moment. Our first caution on lap 20 of 134. He's going to sit and wait. I think finally got clearance to turn it back around. Let's go back and look at what happened here. And my guess is it's probably going to involve being a little bit sideways, is my guess.
Yeah, I imagine probably got loose off of turn 2. Well, he did spin quite a distance down the back straight.
He's already sideways. Yeah, you can see him already. And then he's actually going to lose a little bit and just slowly weaving back and forth. And this is going to hurt. Oh!
Yeah, that car is going to be pretty much done. That was a heavy impact to the inside wall. Concrete there.
Here's another look at it in slow motion here. We get a slightly different angle on it. I'm going to imagine this car is going to be... Oh, yeah, that's concrete there. So that's probably not going to be a good driving race car. Might be race ending for the 28. Right on board. I want to see how this car was handling through the middle of the corner. I thought you could see him kind of sliding through the middle of it.
I'm kind of surprised that he wasn't able to save it. It just overcorrected a little bit too much here. Almost had it.
Well, that's how slippery the straightaways are.
He was maintaining it here, and then...
The skid's behind. And once he hit the wall, I think that was it. And so he goes for a ride, and it's going to be damaged here early. Field is on pit lane, Finian. I guess not a huge surprise for us, but...
No.
I mean,
I think you're full to stay out unless you're leading and trying to lead a lap. But a race off of pit road, it's going to be the 27, the 30, and pretty much everyone else following on through.
And the 89 of Jeff Ward spending a lot of time on the pit lane. And he's going to come out all the way in 23rd. A couple drivers staying out on tires. I imagine this is just going to be to pick up a point. We know Casey Lakatos is one of those drivers that loves to do that. He'll stay out, take a point, and then he'll head into the pits, get some tires, and he'll just do that just to get that extra point. It will help towards the playoffs later this season.
I was going to say, Lakatos is currently 8th in the points, so he's done a solid job in the points game, and he's going to continue to do so. He's actually got a decent car under him tonight as well, is inside the top 15, looking at the top 10.
And he's going to peel off and bring Jared Dixon and Sam Crow in the 0 with him, as well as the 22 of Brandon Key, who is 2 laps down. He is still running, even with all that damage he received in that early incident out of turn number 4. So Navarro leads the way, and so far tonight he's led 20 of our 22 laps, so pretty much all of them. The exception being Casey Lakatos, who has led 2. Good start to this race. I've been really impressed. I mean, this is not an easy feat to accomplish. And let's take a look so far. What was I looking for?
Race information.
The race information, yes. Is that what I was looking for? Sure. Well, we've had 2 lead changes. We've had 1 caution for 1 lap, but let's look at something else. I can't remember what I was going to bring up.
What else are you going to pull on?
I don't know. I'm just totally blanking right now. Oh, the conditions. That's what I was going to bring up. We're getting close to a SimTV record. The record on SimTV is 138 degrees Fahrenheit. I think it was at Indianapolis. So we're getting really close to the track temperature record on this channel, which is pretty impressive. And, you know, sometimes people would argue that hot tracks make for good racing, and so far that seems to be the case.
Although I will say I can definitely see some frustration out of the drivers because it doesn't look like passing is the easiest thing to do at the moment.
No, it definitely seems like it's tricky to pass. The cars are so on knife's edge. So I think there's definitely some challenges to driving with track temps this hot, but I think the drivers like it because it brings the skill back in. The big discussion this year was this new 2019 package and how much skill it takes away from the driver's hands. You make the track 1,000,000 degrees and turn it essentially into magma, and then you bring the skill back into it. So again, this is the Mission 22 Cup Series, and of course Mission 22's mission is to prevent and aid in preventing veteran suicide. So if you're interested in donating to Mission 22's cause, you can visit the link in the video description. We want to thank them for coming on board and helping us out this season. And of course we're going to donate, I think it was $10 every time John Runkle Jr. finishes inside the top 5. So far this year he's not been able to do that, running in 27th right now, but just a little extra motivation to get that 00 inside the top 5. Got a lot of work to do, but we know he's capable of doing it. Coming back to the restart here momentarily, DeBarro has led, again, 20 of our 23 laps. And I don't expect a whole lot to change here, but Robert Hall, new name this year and looking really solid in the outside. Actually, he'll be on the inside lane, so perhaps some working together for the restart, both in Camrys here. Green flag back in the air here at Texas.
Everyone down and away into turn 1. A lot more spread out on the restart compared to the initial start. It's going to be the 27, the 21, the 30, all 3 Toyota Camrys.
Zach Buchanan already up to inside the top 5, passing Tyler Hensley right now in that Herbie-sponsored number 40 car. And the top 4 nose to tail, and there's Matt Bell in that 77 I mentioned earlier. He's capable of winning races, and he's right here. And he's going to be challenging this trio of Toyotas to a battle here shortly. Another car I see poking in to the top 15 is the 54 Martinez. He's our biggest mover so far.
Yeah, and Shane Ewing's also moved up a few spots. So yeah, 32 will be able to move places. We saw him fall back on the last run. We'll see if he can change that and make a charge at the front.
Down the back straightaway, there's some action here in the middle of the field. Marshall Stanley in the 25. On the outside of Colin Fambro in the number 5 car in 17th. Jeff Ward had a poor pit stop sequence, ended up back in 19th place. And there's Vic Bloom on the outside. He's going to get a huge run down the front straight.
He's going to get a nice run to the inside of the 99 car. Should be able to make a few passes here and there. We'll see where he ends up, once the run once these guys start to spread out.
There's Timothy Johnson on the apron here. Going to see him get past here momentarily. There he goes. Returning to the racetrack. Looks like he is scored 5 laps down. Up front, nose to tail, line astern. It's DeBarro, Cohan, Hall, Bell, and Buchanan, Hensley, Bresci in behind them. Ewing and Martinez fighting for 11th. Martinez with the preferred lane down here. I still think the bottom's a touch stronger than the outside lane, but it's going to change very quickly as this track is really rubbering up quite quick.
Yeah, I think once that lane starts to rubber up even more, and especially once the run wears on, outside lane is definitely going to come into its own there. You can see Martinez still kind of even struggling to get past on the inside, and here you see on the outside Robert Hall and defending from the 77 of Matt Bell.
And look at the 21 of Nick Cohan all over the rear bumper of Anthony DeBarro, and it hasn't challenged him for the lead just yet, perhaps satisfied where he is, but of course see the 27 with the silver bullet on the rear bumper there. And out of turn 2, the Toyotas continue to try to dominate this race. First Mustang is P5, that's Zach Buchanan. And doesn't seem to quite have the pace of these front cars, but again, tire conservation's been a big discussion. Riley Thompson pulls right down in front of Greg Evans on the exit of turn 4. So as I mentioned, maybe Buchanan is just letting these front guys burn up their stuff and might try to attack them later in the run.
Yeah, really the key thing too is the way these races have gone, considering the green flag run and green flag pit stops are a thing now. You want to make sure your car lasts the entire run. It's not down a sprint, it's a long marathon that you got to really pace yourself.
Battles all throughout the field, and I'm going to jump back to the one with Hayden Pistorius in it. That is Derek Paulson to his outside lane. And right behind them, Norm Pelletier. And then farther behind, Colin Fambro has been fighting Vic Bloom, Casey Shue, and Justin Guthrie for the past couple laps. This is a bit of a scuffle back here. Even farther back. John Rodden, Tyler Dolger, John Borst. Thomas George, remember he made his mistake early in the race, got some right front damage, trying to recover, but he's 3 wide with Lakatos on the inside, Borst on the outside.
Yeah, that car is just not handling the same as it was. He's kind of struggling in the pack, and we know that he's definitely a driver that's got a lot of pace, so something not working quite right in the 9 car. We'll see if he can try to remedy this. As the night wears on, maybe try to fix that car up to where it was running earlier, but he's getting passed by Casey Lakatos and under attack 2 from Don Runkle back in 30th.
Good fights throughout the field, jumping back to the top spot, though. Looks like DeBarro is beginning to stretch his lead out once again. We've seen him be really good in these low grip conditions before. Do you think anybody can beat him tonight, or do you just want to wait to see the track conditions change some more?
I mean, perhaps there could be some guys that'll beat him, but yeah, I think need to see a whole green flag cycle play out to see, because a lot of guys, I imagine, are trying to, conserve their stuff, save it for later in the run. So we don't really know how much everyone is pushing at the moment.
You see Hayden Pistorius behind Derek Paulson. That got dicey. Here's a look at this on the front straightaway. Watch Hayden Pistorius.
Yeah, to look here all the way to the wall there.
Oh, man.
He's lucky there wasn't safer barrier.
Down the back straight, a drag race there. It's battle for 13th place. And up the road, Greg Evans is right behind Riley Thompson. Evans is starting to fade a little bit.
I think this might be him just being stuck back in some traffic.
So last season, Greg, are you okay there? You're making some awful guttural noises.
Got some hiccups.
Great, that's good timing. Greg Evans in the 46 last season didn't have a great season and really trying to recover after winning Fuel's inaugural Rig Share Cup Series championship a few years ago. And there is Riley Thompson.
He tagged the wall a little bit, but it looks like he's fine other than that.
Yeah, just a slight scrape. Should be all right. Martinez and Ewing have been fighting for a while.
Yeah, these guys have not been able to get away from one another. And as I said, it looks like Martinez is able to slot in front of the 32. We'll see if he stays there.
Off into turn 1, 178, 179 miles an hour for a lot of these drivers. Take a look at our track temps, Finian, 138. We've tied the record here on Sim TV.
Yeah, I imagine it's only going to get hotter too as these guys continue to put time down.
You could literally cook a barbecue on it right now with how hot it is. Justin Guthrie in that Dunkin' Donuts sponsored car all over Vic Bloom for 18th.
And Bloom is here already all the way up to the wall, and Guthrie falling just a little bit lower than that.
And you're not getting way up by the wall. AC Shu, Gary Weaver in the 41, typically on the other side of the cameras. But running 22nd so far tonight. He started in 39th place, so he's up quite a few spots, 17 to be exact.
Yeah, and continuing to march through the field, and we'll see if he can continue that forward progress. He's got Eric Gonzalez and Jared Dixon behind him.
Here's Casey Lakatos negotiating some traffic. Remember, he stayed out under that last caution just to get a lap lead point and then came down pit lane, so restarted at the rear of the field. Oh, big slide right in front of Lakatos, and I think that was Gale Brooks in the 71. A huge slide off of turn 4. Here's a look at that. Watch this. Oh no, it wasn't. It was a 16 of Jared Dixon, and he went through the grass on corner exit. So he's actually down rejoining the racetrack. So he actually went for a wild slide and recovered, but he'll come out last car on the lead lap back in 36th place. Nick Cohan losing touch with the 27 to DeBarro, Finian.
Yeah, losing quite a bit of time at this point. You can see kind of a gap separating the top 3 by about half a second each. But you can see back there for what I believe is
7th. Whoa, bit dicey back here. Greg Evans, Hensley Thompson, and Brian Chambliss as well. Here comes Chambliss taking a look for 9th.
Peels out of line. Thompson going to take the high lane. Chambliss on the bottom. You see Martinez also following in close behind.
Remember where Martinez started, back in 23rd spot. He's about to work his way inside the top 10. And we know he's good at these low grip conditions.
The battle for 3rd also heating up as well as Robert Hull makes a look to the inside of Matt Bell. Couldn't get it done. We'll see if he can try something off the corner here.
Bell trying to drive away, but Hall is putting too much pressure on. Off into turn 3, line of stern, nose to tail. And maybe a bit of aero wash here for the 30. He's going to have to struggle to keep it turned down, but he does a pretty good job. And maybe with the slow corner speeds because of the high track temp, you might not have the aero push effect quite as bad as before.
And moving on back to this battle that we were looking at before at around 10th place. Pretty much a battle for 9th as Thompson now is under attack from Chambliss and also Alec Martinez, who's looking to the high side. Look at him rocket around.
3 wide. He's going to use that run. Oh, contact. No, the 54 gets put in the wall at a turn 2.
Yeah, I was actually just afraid of that. You see Shane Ewing sideways down the back straightaway. He's going to get it collected.
Yeah, and the 54, how much damage does he have after that wall contact? Doesn't look too bad.
Yeah,
We'll take a look at the replay here momentarily.
I think more of it was to the door, if anything, actually.
Casey Lakatos on the back straightaway. He's crashed. Oh, we got another car around. That's Thomas George.
Yeah, no caution, though, as Lakatos is getting back up to speed.
Yeah, so not a good lap for the Sim Motorsports cars. What happened to the 51st? This might have been following all that other stuff that was going on. So here's a look. So up the road, I think that's a 56 car.
You see, oh yeah.
Oh no, it's not the 56. It's the
42.
41 and 42. And then the 42 gets loose, and Lakatos is going to go to the outside lane, and he's just going to get sandwiched and gets clobbered into. And then the 9 has nowhere to go, and this is going to be a big hit. That's night over for sure for the 9. Let's jump back a little farther. I want to jump and catch what happened to the 54 of Martinez. This is out of turn 2.
You see him getting a nice run to the outside.
Yeah. And he did a good job backing out of that, because if he had stayed in it, they would have crashed. So the 54 kind of taking one for the team. He's right back in the fight here.
Looks like he was pretty unaffected and is going to have another charge yet to the outside, this time out of turn 4.
Yeah, hopefully he doesn't get in a bad situation again. The 58 slides, and he's going to try to cross over, but sits behind. It's really tricky to get 3 wide right now with the way the track conditions are. He's putting pressure on him for sure. 42 laps complete. We've been out on this run for 21 laps, finishing about halfway through the run. These drivers are screaming for tires.
Yeah, look at Jeff Ward, who's moved his way back up into 12th now, trying to attack 54 as he makes an attack on Riley Thomas to the inside now.
Yeah, Jeff Ward, remember, he had a big issue on pit lane. He dropped all the way towards the rear of the field. Caution in the background. It's John Rodden and the 42 of Eric Gonzalez torn up on the back straight. And our second caution of the night flies 22 laps into this green flag run. Rodden torn up. Let's see what happened here between these two. It's the 42 again. He was struggling. He was the one that had an issue with Lakatos the lap prior. He just got up into the wall out of turn 2. Tried to save it and just what a hit for the 33.
Ron was just a victim there. Nothing he could have done in that FedEx machine.
Yeah, here's another look in slow motion here. So the 42, he tries to save it. We've seen once you get sideways on the straightaway and you hit that wall, you're going to the inside. And look at the air that the 33 car gets in. A huge impact to the inside fence. If he's going to get lifted up in the air. Man, what an impact. Final time here. And Don Runkle Jr. is able to scrape on through. Wow. Maybe we'll ride on board with the 33. Not much time to react to this. So our second caution of the night after 44 laps. The field is on pit lane once again, and this is going to be the obvious choice for pretty much everybody. And Robert Hall is actually going to beat Anthony DeBarro off pit lane this time through. So a little bit of track position shuffling. And Alec Martinez being really aggressive to try to beat those cars he was battling on the racetrack out of pit lane so he doesn't have to pass them all over again. So running position on the left-hand side of the screen, Chris Matthews in the 92 and Jared Dixon stay out on the racetrack. They're probably going to come into the pits this time through, but Matthews had a lot of success at the end of last season. And really haven't seen him up front a whole lot this season. I don't even know if he's entered a race this season or not.
I don't think he has. I don't remember seeing him. Granted, we haven't had really massive fields. I'll try to check that.
Going to come on through and lead a lap tonight, or is going to bail off the pit lane and bring Dixon with him.
Yeah, so they're going to come on down. Yes, he has not made a start this season.
So his first start, a little bit of a late start, never hurt anybody. So field rolling on through, Robert Hall takes the lead over, and of course he's led only one lap tonight. He was our pole sitter at the start of the evening, but Anthony DeBarro was better than him for that first lap. What are the chances DeBarro gets the lead back right on this restart, or do you think it'll settle out with the 30 in the lead this time?
I think it'll settle with the 30 in the lead this time. Again, we'll have to kind of see. I don't know if DeBarro will be able to immediately get around the 30. We'll see if he can. If he tries to force the issue early, as you see the track temp die down just a little bit.
We might have peaked, but part of me wants this to go to 139 just to beat the record.
I wish we had a smaller one to like just have in the top corner, just the track temp.
You know what? I'll add that.
I mean,
that's a good thing to add. Not right now, obviously, but I'll add it for maybe the future. That's a good idea. I didn't really think about that. Or maybe just something down in the bottom. I don't know. We'll see. Race information so far, we've had 3 lead changes. We've had 2 cautions for a total of 4 laps. It'll probably be about 6 by the time we're done with this. And of course, this is the 5th race of the season. Go ahead.
And I've been noticing, too, that this caution also came out about 20 laps into the run. So really, once these guys get to about 20 laps in, tires really start to wear out, and a lot of guys are struggling with some loose conditions. So this is kind of more or less what I expected. The tires pretty much fall off a cliff after a certain point. So I imagine the next caution probably going to come out at around lap 60, closer to lap 70. Especially with the track showing no sign of cooling, if anything, getting hotter.
Of course, this race is the Bubba's Boards 200 here at Texas. We want to thank Bubba's Boards for coming on board and sponsoring this race. It's kind of cool to have a sponsor here and there. I don't know what Bubba's Boards does, but whatever they sell or whatever they do, if they're good at it.
I was laughing at the fact they said that they came on board.
Bubba's Boards. I crack myself up sometimes, Finian. All right, well, we're getting towards the halfway point here, slowly but surely. And if this race were to go green to the end, which is a distinct possibility, it would be about 47 minutes until it were to get there. So Robert Hall is going to choose the inside lane for the restart. Last time, Anthony DeBarro chose the outside. So interesting choices here.
Yeah, I don't think it should matter that much, depending on the restart that the 27 gets. We've definitely seen the leader benefit more than any other position, and second has usually been the big loser. So we'll see how DeBarro, if he can keep up with the 30, and if they are indeed working together.
We've had about 5 cars out of the race. Eric Gonzalez, Timothy Johnston, Thomas George, Brandon Key, Dulger, and Lowe. Johnston is out on the racetrack still, but 5 laps down. Green flag back in the air, lap 47 at Texas.
And a great start for the 30, exactly as I predicted, going to the lead. Here comes the 27 and also the 21 to the inside of DeBarro.
Ooh,
so
Matt
he's
Bell
leaving his man
wants
to dry.
to clear the 27, and he will. He'll jump right up in front.
I don't know. I think it's a little bit too early to try that outside lane. We'll see if he can do anything now they're up to speed. This will be interesting to see how far that lane's come.
Nose to tail out of turn 4. Cohan going to try to wrestle away second, but look at the run that 77 got, and he's going to get a push from the 27 to DeBarro. A strong run down the front straight. He'll have a look at the lead into turn 1.
Yeah, also Thomas Bressing, the 24, he's joined the picture as well in 6th, trying to make something happen here, as well as Zach Buchanan in 5th, now to the inside, at least looking to the inside of DeBarro.
Whoa, that was tight in the background there. That was Jack Andrick in the 17, who had some damage early after contact with Brandon Key. He's up to 29th. For second, though, Cohan and Bell still fighting. Robert Hall, he needs to set sail now if he wants to get away. Buchanan and Bressie, door to door. That's for 5th place behind him.
Still sideways off and still side by side into the corner they go, and Bell's been struggling to get around the 21 of Cohen. If he can get around him, he has a chance at the leader. But no dice so far. It looks like the 27 DeBarro looking back to the inside and behind the 21, trying to get back ahead of the 77.
Yeah, DeBarro hasn't been shuffled out of the lead yet this race, so interested to see how long it'll take him or if he can get back to the top spot. Bell on the outside, not going to quite be able to clear the 27 though, and they'll drag race down the front straight. Working lap number 50.
And Bell's starting to lose that run that he had on the outside lane as this is going on. You see Bressie, too, filing in ahead of Zach Buchanan, now looking to the inside of Bell.
Look who's creeped inside the top 10. That's the 54, Malik Martinez. Probably had a race-winning car at Darlington. Things didn't quite go his way, but he is inside the top 10 after starting 23rd tonight. Behind him, 3 wide, Hensley on the outside. Pelletier up the middle, and 44. Actually, it was 44 on the inside. And that is Shane Ewing, who's on the outside lane that time through. Zach Buchanan, he's been a top 10 car all night long, being very patient tonight. But really, I think he wants these races to go a lot more green later in the run to maybe take advantage of these drivers that are using up their stuff.
Yeah, that's really where we've seen quite a few guys start to shine is really later in the run. Unfortunately, I haven't gone through a whole green flag run just due to how treacherous the conditions are on old tires.
So it's interesting. I've noticed Zach kind of arcing the corner in more and not... Maybe not so much in turns 1 and 2, but watch in 3 and 4. We'll see if he does it again. He's really been arcing in a lot later, kind of late apexing the corners, and it's not scrubbing the tires on corner entries. So let's ride on board and see if he does the same. As opposed to the top 3, definitely a little more arc.
Yeah, he's, I think, really just trying to maximize his run off the corner. And that's really a beneficial thing to do, is get those runs off the corner to set up a pass into the turns. That's really the key thing to do with this cup package the way it is. And Buchanan just trying to ride it, and also just trying to get some clean air stuck in behind the 24.
There is his comparison to the leader right now. 30 and the 40 on the back straight. Lots of good battles throughout the field. Norm Pelletier sits 14th, and he started in 16th. He's been kind of mired here all day long, but Colin Fambro, and he's 19th right now, started 22nd. He's been fighting Gale Brooks for quite some time, but Brooks started in 37th. He's gained half the ground he needs to be up inside the top 5. But got quite a bit of pace tonight, looks like.
And in behind them, too, the 25 Marshall Stanley in that black Mustang.
Started 20th. He's gone exactly nowhere. Woo, we're getting a little tight out of turn 2, though. Greg Evans in the 46, side by side with Buchanan.
Yeah, Buchanan under attack, and they got John Rodden up ahead off the pace. And
Whoa,
they almost
real
make
tight
contact as they go 3 wide on the front straightaway.
Yeah, I got a little tight, a little more tight than you'd like to see. As Jeff Ward has worked his way back into 8th after that poor pit stop on the first round of stops.
You see Buchanan rocking the outside lane, trying to get ahead of Greg Evans. Is so close to clearing him, and indeed he does clear him off in the corner. Now Jeff Ward slowly again trying to recover back from the first pit stop we had under caution.
So it definitely seems like if you're towards the rear of the field, you can slice and dice and make passes, but once you're inside the top 5 or 6, it's really difficult to pass. Tabarro has gone nowhere since the restart.
Yeah, he's not really been able to do anything. It's pretty much the leader is almost immune from the rest of the field, or at least it has seemed like that for most of this race.
There's John Borse at 86, the blue and white car that just passed the frame, fighting Christopher Matthews in the 92, and Calvin Filarski right behind. It hasn't been a phenomenal start to the race for the two. He's been competitive in seasons past, off to kind of a slow start this season, though, in that number 2 Rewind Toyota Camry. Fambro and Thompson. Riley Thompson has been sliding back just a little bit, and he's going to get into the wall just a touch as well. Bit of a scramble off turn 2. That's Justin Guthrie in the 18, getting on by the 33 of John Rodden, who's about 10 laps down. Casey Shue. And Shue is not running where his teammates are right now. Teammates Bresci and Hensley are 6th and 12th. And Shue back in 18th for the moment. Definitely seems like these drivers are locked in a pretty tight battle for track position.
Yeah, it's also coming out of premium here as you see Greg Evans working back on the 40 of Zach Buchanan. Has a little bit of a look. You see him side drafting down the back straightaway and off to the corner. Side by side, you see Buchanan also pinching that 46 down. That could be really dangerous if he has a wiggle.
They really using each other up on the straightaway as well, and Ward is closing in, just watching this from behind and trying to pick a lane. Which place do you go? Which line do you choose? Looks like he'll choose the middle.
We're running that outside lane, following Buchanan to get that run off the corner.
Off into turn 3, the leader still Robert Hall by half a second over Nick Cohan and Anthony DeBarro, although, was Martinez way up against the wall. He's still 9th. His progress has slowed significantly since getting inside the top 10. And looks like Evans, Ward, and Buchanan, their dogfight has just increased in intensity as they make their way down into turn 1.
Yeah, you can see all these guys taking many different lanes here as these guys start to battle out for position.
Evans has been working over this 40. He's definitely faster. There's really not much of a way to get by right now. And you see Jeff Ward has gotten stalled out by this, but Martinez is using the upper groove, and not a whole lot of cars have been up there making time. So if you can make ground up there, I'd much rather have a car up there because they can make passes where the guys in the bottom are stuck behind each other. So Martinez goes for 8th.
They can make passes too while putting less load on the cars, and I think that's really the benefit of rocking that outside lane.
Well, it is kind of a double-edged sword, though, because the outside hasn't been rubbered in yet, so it's going to be more abrasive. So that might be true towards the end of the race. Some get a little sideways there. But at the beginning of the race, you might be risking some extra tire wear, but we're curious to see how that's working out. It doesn't seem like it's hurting the 54 so far, though. You see Buchanan try a different lane. This is some good stuff. Well, true multi-groove racing, and Buchanan pounds the wall out of turn 4. It's going to be a big hit.
Yeah, loses all his momentum, and I was going to go 3 wide for a second here as Martinez tries to get into the inside of that 40. He's going to be 3 wide, the 40 to the outside, 32 to his inside.
And Shane Ewing real tight off of turn 2. Oh, that got a bit dicey. Ewing goes evasive there for a moment. Closing in on halfway here in just about
5 laps.
5 laps. Thank you, Finney, for the quick math. And we've been at this green flag run for 19 laps, and that's where the trouble spot has been as Martinez tries to fake out Buchanan and dive to the inside into turn 1.
See if he actually is able to get the pass done. I don't think so. That outside lane.
Oh, he tried. He did it.
Yeah, solid job. But yeah, you really have to clear him before that exit. Otherwise, that outside lane just rockets down the straightaway.
Brian Shambles to the bottom, trying to get by Shane Ewing. Shambles has been really good so far this season as well. He's showed up inside the top 10 quite a bit. Oh, Hensley! Out of control into the wall in the front straight. Scraping the wall, and he's going to try to pull down off the racetrack without causing a yellow, and he will. But through the grass, and just exactly, we hit 20 laps into the run exactly, and that's where our trouble begins. So here's a look out of turn 4. And just loose and chase it up into the hill, and big hit to that right front. That just happens that fast. Luckily, he was able to keep it straight, so he's going to actually head down to pit lane here and service this car. Guthrie and Fambro fighting for 17th place, and Guthrie on the outside now. Up the road, Hayden Pistorius and Zach Buchanan's fallen down quite a few spots. That's Derek Paulson in the background. Big slide off of turn 2. Here's a look.
Almost went dead to left there. You see him tail happy little bit off the corner. Is going to chase it all the way down the apron. Fantastic save for the 60.
The lead has been slowly tightening up here. Cohan's run just a touch faster than Robert Hall the last couple laps. They've both gapped DeBarro just a touch. Ooh. Cohan, they're really fighting the car about 20 laps into the run.
Yeah, I think I honestly feel we're going to see a caution within the next few laps.
That's Jared Dixon on the bottom?
Yeah, that's Dixon on the bottom. Damage from an earlier incident for him.
Riley Thompson, he's been up and down the order quite a bit tonight, hasn't he? But he's starting to get that car pointed in the right direction, been making some pretty good time the last few laps.
Yeah, trying to gain time on Derek Paulson, who's just up the road. But yeah, not a whole lot of action for our leaders, at least for now, as they start to close in here.
Yeah, so Bresci has gotten by Evans for 5th place, and he's running pretty solidly tonight after he started in 9th, so up 4 spots for him. Greg Evans right behind, and Jeff Ward struggling to get himself back inside the top 5 after that pit stop miscue earlier in the race. And we worked our 24th lap of this run, and we are a full 2 seconds off the pace. So we might be even 3.5 if we go the full fuel run.
And also, as we make it across the line, we're officially halfway through this race.
Halfway, Robert Hall leads it, and he has led 24 laps, which is about half of Anthony DeBarro. So Cohan trying to close the gap to the lead. He's led no laps so far, would like to change that. He did win at Darlington a few weeks ago, so he's locked into the fuel finals. But obviously, the more wins you have, the better. And we know that DeBarro is going to have a couple more than he has already by the time we get to the postseason. So Cohan's going to rack him up as well if he wants to have an easier time fighting that 27 come playoff time.
See him dirt tracking it off of 2, getting quite sideways, and again was really anticipating that turn 2. Really big pain in the butt at this track. Either you're tight through there or you're loose through there, depending on the track conditions.
You see DeBarro searching around for some pace up on the top of the racetrack, and also Jeff Ward has been doing that the last few laps as well. And Ward has now caught Greg Evans and is trying to put him back in 7th place. Derek Paulson in the 60, down on pit lane here. Finian, scheduled stop potentially?
Yeah, I think so. I don't see any damage to that 60, so I don't see any other reason why I would be down on pit road and trying to play the strategy game here. We'll see how it plays out for him.
Ward and Evans trading spots, and Ward gets on through. So, again, we're losing 2 seconds a lap. So, my thought process is if you overcut, you got enough laps now to make that work, but an undercut will get you spots in the short term. And with the potential of a caution still very much around with about 35 cars still on the racetrack, maybe an undercut is a decent strategy for now. What do you think?
Yeah, I think definitely so, because you think about it, you do the math, 2 laps of an advantage, that's worth So you basically, if you pit sooner, in 15 laps, you should catch up to the guy that you're racing with.
Ward and Bressie got real tight off of turn 2. They continue door to door in turn 4, and it looks like Ward is really nailing the pace right now. It was as quick as our leaders last time by.
And it seems like the way he's driving it too, he's fast on the top and the bottom as he tries to make an attempt on Thomas Bressie. Although Bressie's going to have the top side this time through. We see 89 able to rotate it much better than other drivers on the inside lane.
Oh, a bit of a wiggle there out of turn 2 though, so losing some grip as we expect as the run goes on.
And was able to clear him there easily in the middle of the corner. So solid job there. You see Greg Evans get very close to the rear quarter panel of that 24 car, almost hooking him.
Only a pair of Mustangs in the top 15. The rest all Camrys and Camaros, but Ward, the best of the Mustangs right now, best of the Blue Ovals, running in 5th. Bressie right behind him. He just disposed of the 24, and now Greg Evans trying to put pressure back on that Exalta 24. About 30 minutes of green flag racing left to go if we were to go green all the way to the end. We've had 2 cautions so far for a total of 5 laps. We've had 3 lead changes, all between the 30, the 21, and the 50 who stayed out under yellow. But Robert Hall, new name to the series and already proving his worth as a competitive championship level driver.
He's definitely done a fantastic job just keeping the pace with these leaders and even
car in the wall out of turn 2, and that is Norm Pelletier. And stays pointing in the right direction, but he scraped the wall pretty hard. Sorry to cut you off. What were you saying?
No, I was saying he's done a fantastic job going toe-to-toe with a lot of the other guys. You see Pelletier have a scrape with the wall.
And Hall's lead up to 7/10 of a second, so it is growing right now. 32.531 to a 32.565 last time around.
Yeah, well, it looks like he's being held up by Dixon this time through.
And Dixon may or may not be on new tires. Let's take a look here. Stint. Jared Dixon. Yeah, so Jared just got out of pit lanes. This is what I was talking about, the speed difference. Jared Dixon just ran, or actually, let's see what he runs this time through. In the 16 car. On fresh tires, he's going to run a 31.794. That is over 1.1 seconds quicker than your leader, Robert Hall. So Robert lost a lot of ground, about half his lead, dealing with that car. So that's important as we start to see some more green flag stops. I'm starting to think that 60 car was on a slightly different strategy or wanted to fix some damage because we haven't seen anybody else come to pit lane recently other than some guys towards the rear.
Yeah, imagine these guys still go quite a bit ways on the fuel.
Yeah, at least another 10 laps or so. Oh, Cohan, big correction out of turn 4. Fighting the wheel quite a bit. Whoa, Fambro and up the road, Buchanan, Gale Brooks, and Riley Thompson. 13th place is the contest.
Yeah, Buchanan's really fallen back down the order, surprisingly. He's back in 15th position.
Well, definitely that wall contact had to be part of it. Remember, he pancaked the wall pretty hard in turn 4. And really seems like you can see the fender crinkle. Look at that bump he just went over in turns 1 and 2. That was wild.
Yeah, there's a really nasty one up there as he goes to the outside of Gale Brooks. You see the 44 lap down in the picture.
So Hensley has just come down for a pit stop. And Buchanan trying to keep pace with 13th place Riley Thompson. Bressie and Evans, these guys, I mean, if you're Greg Evans and you've been following this 24 car for so long, are you upset by this? Do you wish that 24 would give you the spot, or are you fine riding here and just trying to figure out what is making the 24 better than you right now?
Yeah, I mean, really, you can't do much in his position. If anything, I would say, plan to come down a pit road as soon as you're, hit that magic number and you're able to do so.
Big slide for Evans.
Yeah, because that could really easily put him ahead of quite a few spots. So it's really, I think, best to try to pass on strategy. You see, if you can go back to the 54 of Alec Martinez, he was really loose in the tri-oval.
And struggling on all the tires. He might have some right side damage to get fixed, but it really looks okay. I don't see a lot on that car. Of course, it was a pretty sizable impact, but again, what he avoided could have been so much worse. 79 laps complete of 134 here at the Mission 22 Cup Series. Bubba's Boards, 200 here at Texas. The 5th round of the season. And we've had a spectacular season so far worth of racing, and no different tonight. Very, very impressed with the quality of the racing around the racetrack. And we've only had, again, 2 cautions in 80 laps. Oh, we got a car through the grass as I say that. I think it was the 44 of Hensley, I'm fairly certain. Oh, and he doesn't have it wound down just yet.
Oh, prevent himself from getting back on onto the racing surface while slowing down. But yeah, that was.
I'm surprised he had that trouble. Oh, it was the 40 that got into him. That's why he had trouble. I was surprised that he was so loose on fresh tires, but it was Zach Buchanan that got into him.
Yeah, Buchanan's getting too tight, hit the safer barrier off turn 4, and then got into the 44 of Hensley, who tried to take evasive action.
So Buchanan damage on the left and right sides now. Not so much on the left, more on the right. Let's jump up the road farther. Second place, Cohan and DeBarro. This is starting to tighten up just a touch.
Yeah, both of them pretty much maintain pace. The leader haven't really been able to catch him. Though DeBarro seems like he's now on the move just a little bit. Him and Cohan running almost identical times.
See him, hear him feathering the throttle. And checking the track temp here, 138 again. Starting to wonder if that's like a maximum. If like the sim won't let it go higher than that. Because it's been here for so long that you have to believe that there's some kind of maximum to it. No?
Yeah, I would agree with you on that. So I don't know. I may honestly play with it later. try to get it up
interesting to see what you could get. So no real tight battles at the moment around the racetrack, with the exception of Calvin Flarsky. How about Casey Lakatos? I thought this car was wrecked. He's still in the lead lap in 23rd place. This is impressive.
Yeah, he's done a phenomenal job trying to keep his car in it, especially considering he took some heavy hits with some other drivers and the wall itself. But yeah, it hasn't probably been a day to forget for the 50 after running so well earlier on. He's kind of mired back here and hasn't gotten a chance to fix that car.
Is destroyed, and it's still running half decent, all things considered.
Could be a lot worse.
Shane Ewing and Brian Chambliss fighting for 9th. 0.2 of a second between them. And I have to imagine our green flag pit stop sequence is starting relatively soon. Maybe you could try to stretch it a couple more laps and get to the end on one more.
That's what I was saying. I think these guys are going to try to stretch it out as long as they can, because you're they're about to enter a weird gray area where we have about 50 laps to go. If they can go another 5 laps, they should be able to make it to the end.
So interesting to note, we haven't seen anybody start to come yet, so I don't think anybody's that close to running out. Gary Weaver in the 41 had some issues earlier in the night, scraped the wall a few times, but still running in 27th after starting 39th, so still a good climb forward for Weaver. And Vic Bloom in 26th in that 99. He's fallen backwards. This has really not been his night. Jack Endrick the same way. Was extremely competitive the first 4 rounds of the season. I know he got damage early, but this is still not looking great for the 17 car. Amro and Brooks, 14th and 15th. And look at Brooks way up by the wall. I've been so encouraged. Look how wide the rubber in the groove is, Finian. I don't see how, right now, the bottom or the top isn't a great place to pass. The whole racetrack is just covered in grip. Well,
yeah, you can see
grip.
how you can see. Yeah, you can really see. I mean, obviously you can't do it now, but if you were to take a look, actually, you at home could do it now. If you just rewind to the beginning of this race, you can see how much the darkness and how much the rubber has been put on the track, how much is expanded further up the racing line, pretty much up to the wall almost.
I actually can do that if you'd like to.
I'm sure, why not?
So we're gonna try this. We'll see if this will. There we go. So that was earlier today, the track conditions that we're experiencing, and let's jump back up live right now, and that is the change in the track conditions. So that is how much it's changed, quite a bit. And look how wide it's about 3/4 of the way up the racetrack in terms of the usable track. So there's lots to be had there. So that means that extra high groove is going to be probably full of marbles and might be a little sketchy to drive up in there.
Yeah, you can see you guys kind of maintaining about a car length off the wall if they're riding up there.
Whoa, Cohan sideways out of turn 2. Big slide for the 21. And DeBarro, he smells blood in the water. Going to try to chase him down. Maybe the 21 looking for a pit stop here potentially as well. He's slow.
Yeah, it looks like he's going to continue on.
He'll continue. So you were mentioning that they had to go 5 more laps. I think we're 2 or 3 laps into that little 5-lap stint we had to go to make sure we can make it on one more.
Yeah, they should actually be now at 45 laps left to go in the race once they complete this time around. So once they pit now, they should be good, theoretically.
Matt Bell in 4th place. This has been a really solid run. Started off running 6th to 10th and really got this car pointed in the right direction. He's been as high up as 2nd has settled into 4th place now. Greg Evans has just gotten passed by Martinez out of turn 2, and I see some right front damage on that 46 as well. Just a little bit.
Uh-oh.
Martinez, a little bit of a flash there. All things have...
Ooh, I see someone down on pit road, and it is Thomas Bresci. So, going to be the first guy leading down everyone else.
Yeah, first guy inside the top 10 to make a pit stop.
And he should be able to make it on fuel from here, based on the way these guys have been running.
And hearing information that the 41 and the 99 have made contact. Don't know exactly when this happened, but there might have been a little bit of an argy-bargy. Vic Bloom is now a lap down, and he has come into pit road, and I do think I see some front-end damage, or maybe some rear-end damage on that car. But there definitely was some contact that Vic Bloom did not have before. Maybe we quickly try to go back and find that. I'm not super confident that I'll be able to, but I'll try. Ah, yes. I think... Nope. Probably a little bit lap prior, maybe. Potentially here. Maybe even farther back. It's out of turn 2. And... Oh, I think this contact was recent. Maybe it was.
Here comes a 41 to the inside, potentially here.
Yeah, I don't know if this was what we were talking about or not.
Getting a little bit tight.
Oh, no. Okay, well, that wasn't the issue that they were talking about, but either way, there was some contact. Meanwhile, up front, the leaders have not come down pit lane yet.
Barrow just peeled off.
Okay, well, check that, change that. Whoa, he just made it onto pit lane.
Oh, not done yet.
Oh, boy. And Matt Bell follows him in.
And made up some time, probably, with that.
Yeah, so that was not a great entry by DeBarro. Oh, I skipped too far back here. Let's go back and just take a quick look at DeBarro's pit entry. Woohoo! Hopefully got it slowed down to pit road speed. Tricky to do when you're sideways like that. So when will all leaders come here, Finney? Do you think they need to come yet?
I think you should come in now. I don't think there's much point sitting out really longer. I mean, I guess you could try to pull the overcut, but...
Well, what's the danger of letting someone like DeBarro get ahead of you on the pit stop sequence and then not be able to get back by them? What's the danger there? I mean, I feel like that's, you know, I feel like you probably should have responded to the 27. The tire drop-off is big, yes, so maybe the overcut could work. We still have a long way to go, about 40 laps worth. So I can see both sides here, but Alec Martinez hits pit lane in the 54 and blows through the box. Chambliss enters his, a little bit neater. Colin Fambro, Justin Guthrie, and the rest of the field making their way down, but our leaders continue to roll around.
That'll also be waiting in case we got a caution, considering, you know, the treacherous conditions. If someone makes a mistake and brings out a caution, that could throw the whole race out of whack.
And trap a lot of the guys that just pit one lap down. So maybe there is some strategy here as well.
See Vic Bloom charging through the inside of through the middle of Andrick and Ward.
Greg Evans down on pit lane. He's got some right front damage to repair. It did seem like it was hurting him a touch, so maybe he'll spend a second or two just trying to pull that fender out. And again, our leaders will skip on by. They're really stretching this out. They've been out here for 52 laps.
Oh, someone just spun out the entrance of pit road is the 2, Calvin Flarski.
Thank you. So Flarski goes around for a bit of a spin, and he missed the entrance here.
He almost brought out a caution.
Oh, you know what? He might have made it. I don't know what the
I don't know if that is
what the rule is on that. But let's ride on board here.
I'm just amazed that it did not bring out a caution.
He wasn't even pushing it on entry. It's like he just slipped.
He just slipped, and then look how close he got pretty much on the track. I guess technically for iRacing that wasn't the track, and just clobbered the entry cone, and I think he might have a penalty.
So we stay green here. Yeah, he's still in the box. We stay green, and we're about 53 laps into this run, and Nick Cohan in second. He's just gotten blown by as the 27 of DeBarro.
Yeah, so
it's on fresh tires. Look at this mess down the back straight. This is maybe what Robert Hall was waiting for.
Yeah, I'm thinking that.
Whoa!
That was yikes. That could have been disastrous.
Yeah,
I think actually Hall's coming in this time by. Yep, he is. Here he comes.
Hall is in.
But Cohen stays out there. You see Jeff Ward also in the background. He's coming for his stop.
Yeah, this is making me nervous, this big pack of cars right
hello.
here. Casey Lakatos in the middle, 3 wide. Vic Bloom on the outside. DeBarro and Bell on the inside. But Matt Bell is right next to Thomas Bresci. Will take that spot away. And DeBarro is trying to run away, but Matt Bell came right with him.
Yeah, honestly, I like DeBarro's strategy. This is the strategy I would want to be as a driver. I think those guys might have gone a little bit too long. And we'll see if they can make it up with the overcut. Still waiting on quite a few guys, especially Nick Cohen. You see Zach Buchanan move to his inside.
It's going to be an absolutely enormous lead for the 27 over the 21 when they cycle around. What Nick Cohen is banking on is that this race goes green all the way to the end. If it doesn't go green, this is a terrible strategy. So I'm on board. I think the 27 strategy is better. But Cohen's certainly laying it all out on the line and taking a shot here.
So waiting on Cohen, Pistorius, Thompson, Brooks, and Stanley to make their stops. Everyone else has come on in.
Everyone else.
Say that Stanley's in on pit road.
And Cohen stays out yet another lap. I didn't know that they could go this far.
Yeah, I'm actually surprised that they can go this far, but nonetheless, the 21 will trudge on. I don't know. Because he's running out of laps. We only have 34, which really isn't that many.
It's not. And you need, for the overcut to work, you need to have time to run down the people that are going to get ahead of you on the strategy. So it doesn't work no matter how many laps you have left. You have to have enough of a run to make the overcut a viable strategy. He could just be banking on a caution and waiting for that too, but once he pits, he's going to have to hope it stays green. Riley Thompson hits pit lane.
No, it'll stay out for another circuit.
Oh my goodness. Across the line, here's our race information. We've had 4 lead changes. We've had 5 caution laps in 2 separate yellows, and we're 101 laps in with 33 laps to go. The field pretty well spread out around the whole track.
Yeah, driver down in on pit road. Not sure who that is. I think that is Riley Thompson.
Riley Thompson was just here. I think it's either Don Runkle Jr. Yes, it is, as he slides into his box.
Going proving how durable Goodyear's tires are as it continues out another circuit.
And here comes the 30 to the outside. That was the
leader. Boy,
Lakatos is all sorts of sideways.
Yeah, Lakatos had to lock it down to make sure he didn't spin out. I'm sure Cohen would have probably loved that at this point.
He's got to be banking on a caution. I mean, there's not enough laps left to make a run back and pass everybody back. There's no way.
I'm kind of surprised he continued to stay out there, because if I would have come in a few laps ago once majority of the field made the pit stop, because now the risk of it is quite a ways down, but he might be coming in this time.
Here he comes. So going to try to get himself down to pit road speed. He's being really aggressive on the entry, and he will get it down there in time. So once we cycle out, we're going to do a SimTV sound surge here once we get the field cycle. Let you listen to the sounds of these big V8 motors before the end of the night.
And also Hayden Pistorius looks like he's coming down to pit road as well. He'll be the final driver ahead of Anthony DeBarro.
So again, there's the stints on the left-hand side of the screen. John Wilco, Jack Andrick, and a couple others staying out a little longer. But of course, not going to be relevant to the lead cycling out. So Anthony DeBarro has already passed Nick Cohen. So Cohen's going to be close to a lap down. I mean, this is 2.
Oh, he just took rights. I think he just took rights. No, he
took 4.
Okay. I thought I just saw the right side drop.
So DeBarro was entering turn 3. I mean, this is huge.
Yeah, this is a huge lead.
So if I'm going to pull up a couple informational graphics here. So the 27 is going to be leading this race, and the 21 of Nick Cohen. Here they are on the track map. That is that's almost 3/4 of a lap that the 21 has to make up.
Yeah.
That's not going to happen in 30 laps. It could. I don't think it's likely.
No, I don't think it's likely either. So,
all right, time for a SimTV sound surge here. Let's listen to the sounds of the motors here at Texas Motor Speedway. Anthony DeBarro continues to lead with just over 20 laps to go. Matt Bell trails in second by half a second here, Finian, but Nick Cohan put everything on the line to try to make a strategy call work, and it's just not looking so good for him right now. He's making up time, yes, but he's got still almost half the racetrack to make up to get back to him.
And not to mention, he's got to pass a lot of drivers who aren't particularly going to let him on by, so he's got to keep that in mind as well as his cars start to get more on pace with everyone else. He's still the fastest car out there, but I don't think it's going to last for too long, and I don't think he's got enough time. I think is really the big key factor. He'll definitely get probably well within inside the top 5, maybe even 4th, but past that is going to be a little iffy.
Yeah, you know what? If this works out for him, more power to him, because this is a really, really risky strategy.
And again, the risk is too, you got to be nailing in laps. You can't afford to let off a single lap. You have to be putting in flying lap after flying lap after flying lap consistently to try to make up the time that you lost due to overcutting.
Pelletier and Fambro, 13th place contest right now. Fambro has been just a touch quicker. Pelletier's been a pretty decent race for the 56 so far tonight. Had a couple wall scrapes, but other than that, has been in contention inside the top 15 all night long. Hayden Pistorius, Riley Thompson up the road. They have just traded spots. Pistorius up to 11th and Thompson back to 12th. But for the lead, DeBarro is beginning to lap a little quicker than Matt Bell. They pitted on the same lap. They're on essentially the same exact strategy. But it's really just a race between these two. Although Robert Hall, last time through, was 0.3 quicker. But again, very different strategy. There's the stint distance on the left-hand side of the screen. So lots of different strategies varying in terms of the tire wear on these cars. DeBarro has led 54 laps in tonight's event. Robert Hall has led 53.
Well, honestly, yeah, so just about a cross between the two of them, but between the both of them, they've led over 100 laps, so this kind of shows you how these those two guys have been dominating this race.
And well, during the sound surge, we were informed, I just forgot to update everybody, that Zach Buchanan had a hardware issue, and night that started off so good for the 40 is going to end in disappointment. Again, just like Darlington a few weeks ago. So not a great stretch of races for the 40, but had a very promising run early, so that tells me that that car is capable of winning races and might be able to do so later in the season. Look at Cohan working over Bresci. Tight fit here. It's for 5th.
Yeah, and had to force it as Bresci gets a little bit loose on the outside of the 21. It starts to lose some air, but makes the pass complete after not spending a whole lot of time in behind the 24. So Cohen inside the top 5 for the first time this run.
Okay, so now there's the gap between the two, the 21 and the 27. 19 laps to go. This run is almost half over for the 21. Has he made up half the ground? I don't know if that's the case.
He's really starting to slow down. This cut lap you can't really kind of include because he had a pass of 24, but he's running only about 3-4 tenths a lap faster, and yeah, I don't think it's enough time to make up 9 seconds in that time.
So after all this, we've had an enormously long green flag run here. We have 15 cars on the lead lap. We have 33 cars still running. The cars that are out of this race: Zach Buchanan, Will Roberts, Eric Gonzalez, Thomas George, Brandon Key, Tyler Dolger, and Wendell Lowe. All those cars out with crash damage or hardware issues. 17 laps to go, and DeBarro's lead is quickly stretched now to 1.6 seconds. And interesting to note that I'm just keeping an eye on Cohan's and DeBarro's distance between them. It's 8.5 seconds right now between those two cars. Ooh, Runkle sideways out of turn 4. Here's a quick look at that. Watch this wheel. Okay, it was a lot less dramatic looking than I thought it would.
Yeah, it could have been worse if he didn't get off the gas, so smart move on him to get himself out of it.
And very quickly, DeBarro, that just goes to show you that Matt Bell was driving really hard those first couple laps to try to make up ground on the 27, and I think he burned his stuff up, dropping very quickly, about 1.5 tenths slower than DeBarro the last time through, 1.6 seconds between.
And Hall's also eating him up by about 2 tenths a lap as well, so a 30 car might move himself into second before the night's over.
Yeah, we haven't really talked about Robert Hall this run a whole lot, but I think he's probably in the best position of anybody. He's got 5 lap fresher tires than Anthony DeBarro. He's got 1.5 seconds between him and Jeff Ward, so really no fighting from behind. So I think Robert Hall could be the one to steal away this victory, but it's still going to be an uphill climb for him as much as it is for Nick Cohan.
Yeah, Robert Hall on his second start after his first start at Daytona, about 2-3 weeks back. Well, it didn't really run as well there, finished 19th, but is really on having a solid run here tonight. It'll be interesting to see if he commits to the Cup Series, because he'll definitely be a force to reckon with.
Cohan now gaps 7.6 seconds, so he's gained a second since lap 17, so a second in 3 laps. That's 3/10 a lap. That's about on the pace he's on, but I don't think he's going to get there.
Yeah, I don't think he's going to get there. Yeah, again, I think he's going to get close, and even if this race was longer, he probably would have
Oh,
gotten
yeah,
there.
for sure. He just needed more laps, but that was why I was surprised he stayed out so long, was just because he did need more laps for this strategy to work out. Casey Shu, Gale Brooks, they are the first car 1 lap down, and they're fighting hard for the free pass position if we were to get a late race yellow. Either Shu or Brooks would be the free pass recipient.
Unfortunately, the last almost 100 laps or anything to go by, I don't think we're going to get one. These guys have done a solid job.
Yeah, we have been green for 80 laps, or just about 80 laps. It's been quite some time. It'll be 12 laps to go next time by, and DeBarro is just clicking them off. He's a 2-time winner this season, won the first 2 races at Michigan and at Sonoma. Has been winless since then in the following 2 races, but he's just already starting a pretty phenomenal season run, and you know, I'd be pretty amazed if he wasn't in our fuel finals at the top of the board heading into the last race of the season.
Yeah, he finished, and we say he's winless. Finished 3rd at Darlington, and at Daytona. I'm not sure where he finished. He finished 10th at Daytona,
which is pretty good.
Yeah, so he's finished top 10 in all 4 races of the season. I mean, he's leading this one. Will most likely finish in the top 10 here unless something dramatic happens to him.
Well, Casey Shu and Gale Brooks, they were battling for the free pass spot, and now no more because Norm Pelletier up the road is also 1 lap down now. Now they're going to have to chase him down if they want that opportunity. And I just don't think a caution is likely at this point. No. I think our trends of the race would say that, you know, we get a couple cautions early, then it just goes green all the way to the end, and that has been the case tonight.
Yeah, as you say that, you know, Pelletier, you hook the apron and it's starting to get turned around a little bit sideways, so hey, that car doesn't look too comfortable.
And right behind them, that's the battle for second. Matt Bell and Robert Hall separated by 0.2 of a second, and Hall's going to make pretty short work of the 77.
Yeah, slicing and dicing through the slap traffic, though, so we'll see if Bell can try to put up some sort of fight with the 30, trying to keep him in behind.
And Hall, last time by, was no quicker than our leader, so I don't think that 5-lap tire advantage is going to mean a whole lot in these closing 10 laps. And Cohan's now 6.7 back. He's completely dropped off his pace.
He's kind of equalized out with everyone else by the end of this run, and he's barely even catching Jeff Ward.
Alec Martinez, promising run early, has been kind of mired in 7th and 10th from there on out. Still a good run, solid run. Top 10 for the day for him.
Yeah, he's got Brian Chambliss in behind. Not sure if Chambliss is catching him or not.
I
think he is. Yeah, he is just by a little bit.
Back to second place. Bell leads the way. Hall chasing him down.
See Matt Bell much slower in the middle of the corner. That's where Hall's making up a lot of his time. But being a little bit patient here because they're dealing with a lap car. You'll see Hall wrestling the wheel on exit.
Yeah, everyone's been so aggressive, hacking and sawing at that wheel to keep their car in control. We saw it get away from a few drivers early. And onto the back straightaway now. The 30 got a really good run. Is he going to be able to get alongside the 77? Bit of a shake and a wiggle down the back straight.
Not able to get entirely clear of them or get really a lane to go with. You see him running right up against him, and you can also see in the background that black Mustang.
Yeah, Jeff Ward
slowly approaching them.
Creeping up the picture.
Yeah, only Ford in the entire top 15.
Top 5 is Toyota, Chevy, Toyota, Ford, Toyota. So 3 Toyotas, 1 Chevy, and 1 Ford inside the top 5 spot. The 3 Toyotas in the top 5 are DeBarro, Robert Hall, and Nick Cohan.
Oh, here he comes. He's got a run here. He looks to the inside, trying to side draft that 77. And to the inside, that 30 will go. He's got the better tires to work with. Can the 77 do anything up top?
Well, how much does it mean? How much do these fresh tires mean? About a 5-lap difference between them. It's going to be enough. Oh, Matt Bell for a moment. Robert Hall, drag races. He'll lead that battle that time through. 6 laps to go. And I think he'll be able to clear him, and he does. So Bell gets shuffled to 3rd. Still overall a positive strategy for the 77. I think his best prior to that was running 4th or 5th, so it's still going to work out for him.
He's pretty much running inside the top 5 and will pretty much finish there.
Provided that he'll get a top 3 if Jeff Ward doesn't hunt him down.
Yeah, Little Ward's been closing in at a pretty solid pace, and looks like Bell's on the worst side of his tire life. I don't think he can really do much.
Leader, P2, P3, P4, and
P5.
P5. So all separated by 6 seconds. And this is going to bookend about a 90-lap green flag run if we make it back. Remember, we do have green-white checkers available to us if we need them. I'm somehow doubting we're going to need them. Norm Pelletier, this is the fight for the free pass spot. No, not quite. Fambro up the road is that car, but never know what the case might be. If the 5 were to get into an accident, this would be your free pass fight. And he's going to try to save it, a slide across the pavement for Norm Pelletier.
Whoa.
That was about as close to wreck I think we've seen.
And I think Casey Shue needs a new pair of racing overalls, because that...
Racing overalls.
Yeah, that... What? That's what they're called.
Fire suit?
What are you saying?
Here he goes. Look at this slide out of turn 4. Wow.
Whoa.
And Shue's view of that, we're going to ride on board with him for a moment.
Looking disastrous.
Wow, and great job by Pelletier to hang on to that thing. That could have been the end of the night for more than just one car. Matt Bell, Jeff Ward for third, and Ward's tire strategy here. It's been a slow climb forward.
Yeah.
Remember, he started in second and had a poor pit stop early, but he's just done nothing but claw and scrape his way back inside the top 5.
That'll be pretty solid run here if you can get past the 77 in the next 3 laps, which I think you should be able to do with better tires.
And out of turn 4, Ward is going to clear the 77. Nick Cohan right behind. You see him there. Not enough laps, Finian. 5.5 seconds back. No chance to get to the leaders. It'll still be a top 5 run, a good solid day, but I think he was in position to potentially steal a victory away.
Yeah, I think
Navarro.
he was, if anything, he was set to get a top 3 in the 21, but I think waited too long to come to the pits, and that's really going to cost him. But Navarro waiting to see that white flag in the air. That means this race is going to come to an end.
No chance for a green-white checker now. Anthony DeBarro rounds turn 4. He's going to pick up the white flag. The first 2 races of the season belong to the 27, continuing on his season past success, winning a championship. At Michigan and Sonoma, he continued to pick up another checkered flag.
And an absolutely dominating season. This is pretty much similar to how Greg Evans had his season two seasons ago. With DeBarro, 2 wins, 3 top 5s, and 4 top 10s. He's about to add another one to pretty much each column.
Race win column for Anthony DeBarro ticks up 1 more today. 3rd win of the season for Anthony DeBarro. Crosses the line. Dominant run. 74 laps led. And he wins at Texas.
Yeah, 3 wins and 5 races. A dominant streak for the 27. No one able to match it so far. Robert Hill in his second start in the Field Cup Series will finish in 2nd. Great job for him. Jeff Ward, Matt Bell, Nick Cohen will round out your top 5. Then we got Thomas Bresci, Alec Martinez, Brian Chambliss, Shane Ewing, and Hayden Pistorius rounding out your top 10.
We'll end the race with 12 cars in the lead lap. Riley Thompson, the last of those, as the rest of the field comes on through. And I guess the flagman's got an itchy face now. That's kind of cool. Checkered flag in the air, and for DeBarro, victory lane, no unfamiliar place. It's just been his season so far. He's hard to beat. And he'll burn out again in Texas. Success, not easy to come by. With 40 cars in the field, this is the best of them tonight.
He's really been getting good practice with those burnouts.
Yeah, he's really killing it with those. And something tells me he's going to get a lot more practice this year. Last year, he just made it into the Fuel Finals by the skin of his teeth after a penalty at Chicagoland. And we didn't think we'd necessarily see him come through and absolutely dominate the Fuel Finals. He did so, and he's starting early here tonight. We're going to be back with him in just a moment to talk to him, Robert Hall, Ward, and others. So stay with us. We will be right back.
To get the best result, it's all about ambition, hard work, and doing the right things right. In 1982, two Dutch brothers invented an automatic way to time RC races. The system of the company, called AMB-IT, was quickly adopted by pro racing series like NASCAR and IndyCar. Automated timing for mass participation sport events was also invented in the Netherlands by Champion Chip in the early 90s, giving athletes a personal chip time of their performance. In 2008, the two companies joined forces and MyLap's sports timing was born. We never stop innovating with state-of-the-art timing systems and digital services to enhance the event experience. With our X2 platform, we bring motorsports timing to a whole new level with two-way communication. Our event app and photo video create the ultimate event experience for athletes and fans with live data and personal content like photos and videos. SpeedHive provides a pro-level racing experience for amateur and club events by analyzing personal data. We capture performances of over 20 million racers and athletes every year and use live data to spark emotions. MyLaps. Experience progress.
Welcome back live to Sim TV. We're here now with fifth place finisher Nick Cohan. Nick, really competitive night, a solid top 5 run for you. A pretty risky strategy there with that overcut. What was the plan there, and did you think you had anything for DeBarro, maybe if you followed his strategy a little closer?
We, it was so hard to pass. You kind of had to win it on strategy. So me and Ant were discussing it, and we figured, well, one of us pit early and one of us pit late, and then one of us will win it. So it worked out perfectly. So I gambled to stay out just because the car was getting really, really loose. So I thought we might get a caution, but I knew once I had to pit, it was pretty, as long as Ant didn't screw up there, he had a really good shot at winning it. Robert was really fast, though. I was trying everything I could to get to him. And once you get 0.3 behind him, it's just like a big wall of air. Can't really do anything about it. Once you're the leader, it's, anybody inside top 20 here probably could have led tonight and probably would have pulled away just like Robert did. But he did a good job of not making any mistakes, which is key. So hats off to him. Hats off to Anthony on the win. That's 5 for 5 for Dizzy. Like I said, we tried to make a plan on strategy there that at least one of us would win it, and it worked out.
Nick Cohan, another top 5 tonight for the 21. Thanks, Nick, for talking to us. We'll see you later.
Yep, just shout out to CG Automotive, to Pui for being on the car tonight, and you guys for putting this all together.
I appreciate it, Nick. Have a good one.
Thanks.
Jeff Ward finished third place tonight in his number 89. A pit stop early kind of set you way back, Jeff, but you rallied for a third place result. Do you think you would have had something for Hall and DeBarro had you gotten a late race restart with some fresh tires, or was about third all you're going to do?
I think they had us on a short run. My car really started coming in about 20, 25 laps into a run. Was able to get that high side working, which it was fun running up there. It was sketchy. You get loose on exit, but was making some time up there, and that pit stop killed us. I don't really know what happened there. It's like guys kind of cut down there, and I couldn't see my sign, and I didn't even know where I was, and that's just driver error. And that really hurt us. We spent half the race trying to get back up into the top 5 there. I think was at 21st at one point. So all in all, we had speed tonight. It was a good night for us. Good points tonight, and pretty happy with third.
The track temp was at its highest 138 degrees tonight. Do you think had the track been cooler, it would be easier or harder to pass? And do you like racing on tracks that are this hot?
No, I thought it made for a good racing. If it was cooler, it probably would have been more grippy, and then you just actually, I don't know, probably would have been a lot of side-by-side racing if you could just hold it to the floor longer. But having to milk the throttle and stuff, it was able to let some guys get spaced out and show the ones that can really drive the thing well would gap people. So I don't know, not sure how that would have went if the weather would have been different.
All right, well, third place for Jeff Ward. A great, solid top 5 run after all that adversity he had early in the going. So congratulations, Jeff, and we'll see you next week.
Yep. Thanks, guys.
Yep. Second place tonight was Robert Hall in number 30, and started off on a high note on pole. Slipped back a little ways, Robert, but you managed to climb your way back to second. Do you think you would have had anything for Nabarro on a late race restart?
It's hard to say. It all depended on, I would have had to make the move on the restart, but clean air was everything. So if you didn't get out in front, first couple laps on the restart, probably wasn't going to happen.
I was just asking Jeff Ward about the track temps because they were astronomically high tonight. Do you think the track temp being so high contributed to the multi-groove racing we saw, or is that more just because this racetrack is so low grip in general?
I think track temps had a big difference. I actually didn't know the second groove was as good as it was until the guys in the waiting room were talking about it. I wish I would have tried it.
All right, so a solid second place run for the 30 of Robert Hall. Robert, thanks for talking to us. Welcome to the group, and I think it's the first time we've ever talked to you, so welcome to the group, and we'll see you later.
Yep, thank you. Glad to be here.
Absolutely. And last but not least, we're getting real used to talking to Anthony Nabarro. A third win of the season for you on your Dizzy Motorsports team. Obviously, it's been a great season for Dizzy in general, but Anthony, it seems like every time we go to a racetrack like this with hot temps, it seems like you're the one to beat. Just talk to us about your night, because you weren't leading the whole time. You had the 30 car and a couple other drivers leading intermittently. So what were the challenges tonight with the hot track and the long green flag runs?
Trying to find yourself as the leader there. I kind of did math in my head because I don't have a spot or anything, but I was doing math in my head to kind of split that run, and I pretty much did there. And I knew I thought maybe the 30 would pit a little sooner than what he did, and I think ultimately that hurt him because I know he got to like 2.5, it's round 3, and he was stuck there. But basically, whoever got out front was just a clean air, and it was pretty much a one groove racetrack. I'm not sure why. The only thing I could think of was when you gassed up to try to run the top, the left rear would get so hot it just would get loose, and you can't try to momentum off the corner. But usually here you're able to run that top. I was trying to make it work when I was in third there, but other than that, it was just we got lucky there how pit worked out, and cautions didn't fall, and I don't know what we got going on, but I hope it continues.
It seems like the momentum from the end of last season is carrying into this season. I mean, is this just the expectation now that you bring winning race cars and winning talent every single week, or is this just something you expect to kind of die down as the rest of the field comes up to speed?
I don't know. I really thought about that. I'm just taking one race at a time, and I'm just being like try to live in the moment because I know your fortunes could change so quickly. There's 40 talented drivers out there, and I think pretty much most of them can win. So I think we got to be humble and just keep working hard and see where our finishes end up.
All right. Well, that was Anthony Nabarro. Anthony, thanks for talking to us, and good luck next week. I don't know if you need a whole lot of luck right now, but you're certainly killing it out there on the racetrack. So thanks for talking.
Thank you. Hopefully the luck never dies.
Have a good night, Anthony. All right. Well, race at Texas, Finian. I wanted to just jump back real briefly to just talk about a couple different things. I wanted to go mostly back during the race to the last few laps and take a look at the rubber that we saw out there tonight. So this is the exit of turn number 2. This is what it looked like at the end of the race. And let's go back to practice.
I think practice is too far.
Was it too far?
Try to see if you can get lap 1.
Well, I mean, this was yeah, let's see if we can get lap 1 here. But I just wanted to bring it back and just talk to you about how much, how about race lap 10? So this is lap 10 of the race. So you can see how much, this is lap 10, and that's the end of the race. How much did that affect the racing conditions tonight? Because we saw the multi-groove racing. Was that all because of the rubber, people driving up there, or was that the track temp?
I think it was purely just the rubber, because the track temp really wasn't doing anyone favors throughout the entire event. And actually, if you could pull it up now, I think it's still pretty damn hot. Yeah, 135 on the track. So it's been 135 plus the entire race. I think really what's been helping people out is the rubber put down. I mean, you can see even too how that there's even rubber in the tri-oval too. Yeah, you can see it going there. So much people are struggling for grip there.
The most multi-groove racing we've seen all night, all season long. Probably not the most competitive up towards the front. Seemed like passing was difficult, but that's kind of what you get with this package, and that's how it works out. But another strong race for the Fuel Mission 22 Cup Series. They've been killing it this year with on-track action and reducing the number of average cautions they've had. We're getting under, I think, if you exclude Michigan, it's got to be average of like 2.2 cautions or something
it's
ridiculous.
like 2 something. So yeah, it's impressive stuff.
So the low grip racetrack here at Texas, we're going to head up to the Northeast to Dover, Delaware next Tuesday. And that's going to be a fun one because that's the Monster Mile. And if we know that any track that can eat up race cars, that's the place to look for.
Yeah, that's where we typically expect, quite a few cautions here. They're just due to the nature of the track. Albeit, though, again, these guys have more grip to work with. To see the track conditions, we probably want to cooperate, though.
That's going to do it for us tonight on the SimTV Network. This has been the Fuel Mission 22 Cup Series, round number 5. And we're going to head off for the night. I think our next broadcast is going to be Thursday, Road Atlanta, Scars Ferrari Challenge. So we're heading down to Braselton, Georgia. Then the next broadcast of that will be Saturday with the Outsider Racing League. And they are, where are they next week? Outsider is
Bristol.
Ooh, boy, short track racing on Saturday night. That's it for us tonight. Thanks so much for watching. We'll see you next week.